Hey friend, welcome to the Branding with Jade podcast. I'm Jade, also known as the Aussie Adventuress, and I left the high-flying corporate world to chase my dreams and build an online business. Now, my biggest passion is teaching you how to get paid to be yourself doing what you love. If you want my secrets on all things personal branding, marketing, entrepreneurship, and making money doing what you love, then lovely, you are in the right place. Let's go. Hey there, it's Jade Scarfone here, and welcome to another episode of the Branding with Jade podcast. And as promised, in this week's episode, I'm going to dig straight into personal branding, and I'm going to be talking to you all about what personal branding is and why it is so important. So many entrepreneurs put a lot of focus into building their business brands, but today I really want to talk to you about why building your personal brand is just as important. So to understand why building your personal brand is important, first it's really important to understand what personal branding actually is. And I just realized I said important about 5 times in the space of a minute. So hopefully I can stop saying that word and show you that I actually do have more words in my vocabulary. But anyway, let's get back into it. So basically, personal branding is actually about showcasing who you are as a person. So in the instance of this podcast, we'll mostly be talking about building a personal brand online, and mainly in regards to social media, blogging, and other content platforms. So in this day and age, people are less likely to trust brands as they are to trust people. So if you're putting all of your focus into building a company, it's just as important that people also get to see the face behind that company, especially in small business, because this is how you will be able to build stronger relationships, have a higher chance of attracting your ideal clients, and build up the all-important know, like, trust factor. And my friend, you're going to hear me talk about that a lot, because really, if you want to succeed online, you need to have the know, like, trust factor. So I will talk about that a lot, because it is something that is really important. And there I go using that word again. But in a social media driven world, people are exposed to information on the daily. So you need to find a way to stand out against your competitors. And if another company is providing similar products or services, your point of difference to the customers is who you are. And this is why personal branding is so important, and you're going to hear me talk about it over and over again. And I want to give you a couple of examples here. So as you know, I originally started online as an affiliate marketer, which means I bought into a company, I licensed their products, and then that allowed me to on-sell those products and earn a commission whenever somebody bought it through my special link. Now, I wasn't the only person promoting those products. There were hundreds of thousands of other people selling the same products. So if I just had an Instagram page or a Facebook page where I just talked about the product, and there was 100,000 other people doing the same thing, what would make anybody buy it from me over the 100,000 other people? Nothing, because we're all the same. So the real point of difference there was the fact that I hardly ever spoke about the product. What I did do was I built a personal brand around travel, and I shared my lifestyle. I told people that I had found a way to earn an income online, and that is what was sustaining my travel lifestyle. That's how I was able to travel the world, score influencer deals, write my blog, and all of that kind of stuff, because I had this product that I was leveraging, which I was selling on the back end. But that's not what I made my brand about. My brand was about me. And that's what made people connect with me over the 100,000 other people. That's what saw me be on income leaderboards and be one of the top salespeople within that company and get to speak on stages, because I had a point of difference. I showed up as myself, and then people wanted to buy the product from me because it wasn't the product they had a connection with. It was my lifestyle. It was my stories, and they wanted what I was sharing, because I let them into my world, and I created a brand about who I was, what I was passionate about, and I showed them that they could have that too. And so they wanted to learn it from me. And so the same goes if you're a network marketer, like if you're selling something like Arbonne or Isogenics or one of the 100,000 other network marketing products that are out there these days, not knocking them, they're just not for me. But there's so many people doing the same thing as you. So the way that you have to stand out is to show you who you are, show how those products fit into your lifestyle, show how those products have changed your life, share the stories of where you were before and what those products have done to get you to where you are today, how they've given you more time freedom, how you get to stay home with your kids, how you've lost that weight that you could never lose before, how you're healthier, happier, all of that kind of stuff, because that's what resonates with people, and that's letting them into your life and giving them a connection with you. It's not about the product. It's rarely about the product. And one thing I want you to commit to memory right now: people buy people, not products. So you could have one person selling a network marketing product and their whole social media feed and whole Instagram account is just about the products, and they have no pictures of themselves. They don't show up in their stories. They don't show who they are. And then you've got another person selling exactly the same product, but you wouldn't even see the product on their feed. And they're the ones that are making all the sales. What's the difference there? They're not talking about the product. They're filtering it into their normal lifestyle and showing people their lifestyle and their personality and who they are. So really think about this stuff when it comes to whatever you're doing online. You really need to focus on your personal branding. And the same goes if you're a small business, say you've got a candle company, an e-commerce store, designers. I don't know as much about those products, but I do know that when I go to pages where I actually see the person behind the brand, I am more likely to buy from that because I can see there's a person in that business and I make a personal connection with them. So it's something to think about. No matter what your business is, personal branding is important. So knowing who you are can help your business to seem more real. Not to mention, having a personal brand can help to boost your company's visibility and bring even more attention to your business. If you're seen as a thought leader or expert in your industry, it will naturally attract more eyeballs to your company because people will start referring other people to you. They'll think, oh, she's the go-to person for that. Whenever somebody asks them for recommendations or something, you'll become that go-to person because they think about you because they've made a human connection with you. It's not just another product that they've seen over and over again. There's a person there that they've resonated with. And so that will give you more brand awareness and bring more people to your business. So there's a reason why so many business leaders and entrepreneurs make it a point to build their own personal brands and share their thoughts and experiences on a wide variety of platforms. Having a personal brand also means that you can align yourself with many different companies because you have a loyal following that trusts in you. So what I mean by that is, say for instance, you are a network marketer or an affiliate marketer or somebody that promotes other people's products or an influencer or all that kind of stuff. Because you're not just always throwing products down people's faces and because you're just talking about your lifestyle, you can promote hundreds of different things if you wanted to. I wouldn't recommend doing that many things, but you could promote a few different things and it wouldn't matter because then when people come to you, you can think about what's the product that's suited to them and that's the product you discuss with them, because on the front end, you're just building a brand, you're building a personality, you're showing them who you are, they're making a connection, and once you get to know them on the back end and have those conversations, you can tailor the product conversation to them based on what you think suits their needs best. So again, when I was promoting affiliate products, and I still promote smaller affiliate products, but I'm not affiliated with any high ticket company anymore because the one that I did invest all my money in and was doing really well with did shut down. So I'm not affiliated with anything like that anymore. But when I was, there were people that were parts of a few different companies, like different tiers. So the one we were in was quite a high ticket product. And so if some people couldn't afford that, then they could offer them a product with a different company which had a cheaper entry level. So you can tailor your conversations to people based on where they're at in their life and what they're looking for. But you can't really do that if you're just spitting products all over your profile, because people are already making a judgment before they even come to you and have a conversation. So it's all about that attraction marketing and building a brand around who you are and sharing your lifestyle and personality. Now, you can even apply these principles to succeed if you're still in a job. And I want to relate this back to when I was in the corporate world, because when I was working at Bank West, I still had to be very mindful of my online presence, because a lot of my clients were my friends on social media. So I still shared who I was, and I didn't hide anything about my lifestyle, but I did need to be mindful that I had this corporate background. I had my clients on my profile, and I wanted them to see me as a professional and somebody they could trust and somebody they could come to and look up to. And because I was a young girl as well in a quite male dominated industry where they'd all been in, a lot of them had been in the industry, they were in their 50s and stuff, and I was this 20-something-year-old girl trying to sell products to them. So I had to show them that I was professional. I had to really think about my online presence, because it wasn't, if I was a completely different person online to what I was offline when I was with them, then that would be a disconnect. So it's really important to think about your presence online, because that's something that's there forever, and your digital footprint stays with you. So if you've done something that you're ashamed of and that's online, then that can be quite detrimental to you in the future. So you really need to think about these things when it comes to building a personal brand as well, because people can find stuff. So that's something to really think about. And especially if you do want people to do business with you, you want to show who you are, but you also need to think about what image you're portraying and whether it is aligned with your vision and values, whether you're doing it just to look a certain way or whether it's really you. Because the beauty about building a personal brand and running your own business especially is you don't have to have these facades where you put a show on to look a certain way. You can absolutely be yourself, and that's what's going to attract the right kind of clients to you, because they're going to resonate with you. And if you scare a few people off, then they're not your people, and that's totally fine. Not everyone is going to relate to you, and that's the best thing about building a personal brand with your online business, is that you do get to be 100% yourself. And the more of yourself that you are, the more that you'll really attract those people to you that are the right fit for you. So it's the best thing when you build a personal brand online. Okay, so now that we know what personal branding is and why it's important, let's look at some tips for actually building your personal brand. So when it comes to building your personal brand, I like to separate it into 4 main categories. You have the personal elements, the technical, the design, and then the strategy. So let's look into these a little bit more. So the personal stuff is like the stuff that really makes up your personal brand. So this is, why does your brand exist? What's your niche? What's your target audience? What do you value? What's your message? What's your brand story? What's your language? And of course, your photos and videos, because sometimes you really need some professional photography to tell the right kind of story, or some professional videos just to show people that you're serious about your brand and that you're there showing up as a human, because sometimes people are scared to just put up pictures of themselves. So having a personal brand shoot can really give you a boost of confidence, because you look really professional, or they've really captured your personality and made you feel comfortable on camera. So it's definitely something to think about. Now, the technical stuff, design stuff, and strategy stuff, this stuff kind of interlaps. I don't even know if that's a word. Is that a word? Overlaps with business branding as well. But you need to think about it with your personal branding too, because some people, like me, for instance, don't actually have a business brand. I've got Aussie Adventurous, which is me personally, and I've got Jade Scarfone, branding with Jade. So it's all just me. I don't have physical products or like a separate business that's an entity separate to me. So it's all the same. Whereas sometimes you might have a business brand, like if you're an agency or something like that, you've got your business, or like an e-commerce store or something like that, you've got your business brand and then you've still got your personal brand. So you need to think about these things as well. So when it comes to the technical side, you've got things like your domain, your website, your email address. Design is the fun stuff. So logos, fonts, templates, filters, brand colors, business cards, email signature, and then strategy. So this one's super important as well. So your social media platforms, your content planning, email strategies, sales funnels, marketing plan, brand stories, sales pages, lead magnets. And don't worry if all of this is going whoosh over your head at the moment. This is what we're here for. So we're going to be on a journey together. I'm going to take you through all these details and share with you how you actually go about building up your brand, and really take you through it step by step to understand how to build a really powerful personal brand. So for now, let's break it down a little bit more. So let's look at the personal elements, because this is really the start of it all. So this should be your first point of consideration when building your personal brand. These are all the things that make up who you are as a person and why you're running your business in the first place. So you want to consider things like your why, your niche, your target audience, because knowing these details helps you to determine where you should be showcasing your brand. And then you should also consider your message and your story and how you're going to communicate that. Even consider things like your clothing and personal style that you want people to recognize you for. And if you really want to take things seriously, as I mentioned earlier, one of the best investments you could make is into some personal branding photos and videos. Now, once you have all the personal side sorted, then you've got the technical stuff. So it's time to get techie. And the best thing is you don't really have to be too good with tech. You can get sorted. Now, if you've got a company website, consider whether it's worth having a personal website as well. So that way people can learn more about who you are, and this way you can align with different businesses and services along the way. So for example, take Gary Vee. So he's a huge name now. Now in the start, he probably didn't have as many websites as he's got now, because he wouldn't have been as big as he is now. But right now, he has a strong personal brand, which is established at GaryVaynerchuk.com. But he also runs a full-service digital agency, which is VaynerX, which has its own website, plus VaynerMedia, which is another website. And then he started out in a wine business, which would have had another website. So sometimes you might get to a point where it's worth considering, do you have a website that's separate? So people can come to your company website, but if they want to get to know you personally, or if there's other things that you do, different services, or if you maybe wanted to get hired for speaking gigs and really build up that personal brand and create some PR just around yourself and who you are, then sometimes it's worth having that separate site so people can go there and just learn about you as a separate entity to the company. So that's something to consider. And when we think back on Gary Vee, the reason he is so well known isn't because of his companies. It's through his strong personal branding. I didn't even know about all his companies. I found him on some social media platform. I liked his content. And then through listening to his content, I learned about the other companies, but I just knew him as a person to start off with. And so it's only once people go to his site or start looking into him more that they learn about his companies. So this is a prime example of getting more eyeballs on his company through strong personal branding. He just kept pumping out so much valuable content that people find him, and then they go digging further and they find more about him. So you get into his little world and you don't come out of it for ages, because you just get not stuck, but you just get engrossed in him. And that's a really good example of good personal branding and marketing. So that's something to aspire to. Now, some technical elements that you should strongly consider setting up when building your personal brand include a website, email, and domain. So to secure your custom domain, I recommend using Bluehost, as this is one of the best platforms for hosting websites. And once you have your domain, you can install a WordPress site with a click of a button. So I do have a blog post that I wrote a while back where I tell you how to start a blog. So if you just wanted to get started with a simple blog, but it does actually guide you through website information as well. So you could look at that for full instructions on how to do this. It's also really simple to set up your email with Bluehost as well. So that's a quick and easy way to get started, and it's not too expensive. If you wanted to get super fancy, then you can pay web developers or buy templates and stuff, but WordPress is free. So all you have to do is pay for the domain and hosting through Bluehost, and then you can pretty much set up a website for quite a cost-effective way. So that's something that you could look at doing when you start out, and it's not too techy. Now, the next element of building your personal brand is my favorite and a super fun part, which is the design time. So even if you don't think you have a creative bone in your body, you will be surprised how simple it is to design a beautiful brand. So things to consider are your logo. This could be as simple as using your initials, colors, fonts, filters, templates, email headers, and business cards. And if you want to keep it simple and again cost effective, you can pretty much do all of your design work in Canva. But if you really don't feel like doing things yourself, then you can always hire freelancers from places like Fiverr, or just search through social media for whatever it is you're looking for, and you'll probably come across lots of people that do what you're looking for, and you'd be able to find somebody to hire. And then finally, you've got the strategic elements of building your personal brand. So this is an ongoing part, and it's really important because this is what's going to really take your brand to the next level, because it's all about being consistent and showing up regularly. And so this takes into consideration all of the previous elements and puts them together to ensure that you have the right methods in place to attract your ideal clients. So things to consider here are your long-term goals, your marketing plans, social media platforms, content creation, email strategy, and sales funnels. Now, when it comes to email marketing, I recommend a service called GetResponse. I've been using that for many years. And for sales funnels, you can't go wrong with ClickFunnels. Now, I must admit, recently I've actually been introduced to Kajabi because I've now transitioned into making my own courses, and Kajabi is an awesome platform for creating courses. And I've learned that you can actually do your email marketing and funnels in Kajabi as well. So I am in the process of transitioning everything over there. Now, it is a really awesome platform, and it's great with tagging and pipelines and all of that kind of stuff. So that is another option if you were looking to create courses in the future. But otherwise, I've really had great success with GetResponse and ClickFunnels over the last 3 years. So I highly recommend those as well. So there you have it. That is all my top tips for building your personal brand. And I really hope you found this episode useful. If you'd really like a better understanding of whether or not you have all the key elements of your personal branding covered, then I've created a free resource for you. It's my ultimate branding checklist, which you can use to go through step by step to ensure you have all the elements of a great brand in place. So if you want to access it, you can go to https://boss-branding-checklist. And I know that's a bit wordy for you to figure out how to type into your search engine. So if it's easier for you, you can just go straight to the show notes of this episode, and you'll have all the relevant links to the things I've spoken about today, and you'll be able to download that checklist there as well. So that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll speak to you again next week. Have a lovely day, and bye for now.